The auditor also recommends against modifying anything for the second quarter at this point. And so, our recommendation at this time is to just kind of carry on with the status quo. And you always have the option there of doing something for the third quarter. The state is or has in some manner started to look at whether it would be feasible to extend the grace period for municipalities. And I know that there's been some talk as well, I believe, about some sort of a property tax rebate program at the state that would likely require federal funding in order to implement, given the state of the state's own finances.
All right, Richard,
that's kind of where we're at the moment.
Richard, just to simplify, because we have so many people on Zoom, I could see people are coming and going. When we collect our taxes on May 1st, just so the public understands, we are collecting for the municipality, we're collecting for the schools, and we're collecting for the county. And to remind everybody, the portion that you pay for our borough is very small compared to what you're paying towards the schools and the county. So we have talked to our legislators because it has to be in the legislature. On May 1st, when we collect the taxes, we have to now pay the county share and the school share. If we delay having people pay us, then what Richard is saying, that's our borough administrator, what he's saying, we may have to take out a tax anticipation note to fund us paying the county and the schools. So what we're trying to do is working with the legislators. We both Richard and I spoke with our assemblymen and spoke to the legislators in the state to say, listen, we would love to extend the second payment of taxes. We would love to have this grace period and let people pay later on. The problem is the county is expecting their money right away, and so are the schools. So the legislators are now negotiating, and well, I shouldn't say negotiating, in discussion to determine whether or not the county and the schools will extend their grace period for us to pay them. This way it can go back to the residents so they don't have the problem of the added burden that the town would have to take out these anticipated notes to fund payment of taxes that we did not receive yet. The legislator is due to meet again on the 13th, which is next Monday. And this is one of the issues in discussion in the state legislature. So Richard, I was wondering, I mean, our next meeting is April 22nd. That's already too late. Is that too late?
Brian, I have a question for Brian with that. I believe the law says that, again, every taxpayer has to be notified of a change if we're going to change the interest rate. Is there a certain manner in which we have to do that? Would that necessitate a mailing to all 4,800 parcels?
We're allowed to provide notice on the website based upon recent legislation. Couple comments. Number one, because of the legislation that is pending before the Senate on Monday, we've been advised that nothing will probably happen on Monday, that it'll probably be delayed 2 weeks. There's too much wrapped up in that legislation. Whether that's accurate or not will be determined, but in all likelihood, we will not have any concrete direction from the legislature next week. Number two, the only ability that a municipality has now is for the waiver of interest and penalties. What it creates by resolution at the beginning of the year, which is part of our consent agenda. We establish what happens if you don't pay your taxes. That's the only discretion that you have. Your notice would be appropriate by putting it on the website.
Okay.
Then so we can do this in 2 weeks. We would have the flexibility.
If it's just the website notice, yes.
So the question is, if the state does not, if the legislature does not extend the period of time for the county and the schools, for the municipality to pay the county and the schools, and we have to pay them timely. We can, instead of us extending the grace period, we can lower the interest for late payment. Is that correct?
That's the option that you have.
So could you tell everybody what the interest rate is right now?
Right now,
The grace period, Richard, the grace period would mean that taxes are due on May 1st, and the grace period is 10 days afterwards. Is that correct?
That's correct, and that's the maximum that's permitted by the statute.
And don't forget, do you know how many residents, taxpayers have their taxes paid through their mortgage companies? The percentage?
It's about half.
Because they always pay timely.
Yeah, usually they do. Actually, most of the time they do. It's unclear, given the state of the mortgage industry right now, what would happen if they were essentially given a grace period as well, without incurring any interest or penalties.
All right, and could you tell everybody what the interest rate is right now?
Right now, again, it's according to what's permitted in the statute. So it's 8% on the first $1,500 of delinquency, and 18% on any amounts thereafter.
All right, Bob, Councilman Knapp, you had your hands up?
I was just saying that I have my taxes taken out of my mortgage.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you do that hands up thing?
Are you raising your hand, Councilman Levy?
See?
Over the bridge, over the bridge.
Over the bridge. Let me reach back and grab the bridge. So our options, as I understand it, are we can change the interest payment for late payment. Do we have the option, if we want to, defer interest payments for late payments until later on in the year when people get back on their feet?
That would essentially be akin to extending the grace period, and we don't have any statutory authorization to do that beyond what we already do.
So the only flexibility we have is just to lower the interest rate or no interest.
And
Is
that's
that correct?
And that's going to do what to us financially, Rich? Is that?
The concern is if there's a large amount of delinquencies, because you're essentially giving people then a free pass to make late payments because you're not charging them interest or penalties, that we run into a cash flow problem, still needing to send 75% of that tax revenue onto the schools and county, and then we would need to take out tax anticipation notes to provide sufficient cash flow for us, and the cost, according to the bond council, would be anywhere between $10,000 and $25,000 per month in interest charges to us to do that.
I don't really. I think that's going to hurt us, and it's going to hurt.
It would ultimately, worsen the financial condition because that's a cost then that the public's going to have to bear.
Right. So what it's going to mean is down the road, when we have to start paying this back, there's going to be a negative tax implication for the residents, for all of us.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Anybody else have comments?
This would be something I'd love to hear from residents about. I'd like to hear what their thoughts are.
Well, when they open to the public.
Exactly.
Okay. So since there's no other discussion and no one else has anything to say, we'll move on to new business. Seeing none, we'll move on to old business. Is that your hands up? Is that Councilman Knapp?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me, new or old. I just want to make a statement
Thank you.
about our two firefighters that have the coronavirus. Both of them have been in ICU on life support for 2 weeks. They're both very touch and go at this moment, and I would just wish that everyone in town that's watching this or watching it on their iPads later on YouTube just sends out prayers for them, because it's really, when I say touch and go, it's really touch and go. They show a lot of signs of improvement, and then they just have a setback. So that's all I wanted to state at this point.
Thank you. You were going to read something. Do you want to do it now?
I can do it now, or I could do it under my report.
Okay. All right, council reports. We could go in order of squares. Well, why don't we do it, we'd start with you, Councilman Knapp, since you're my left square, left upper square.
All right, so a brief report from Roy from OEM. Roy's been receiving and forwarding information daily from the state and county OEM. He's been sending that to myself, I believe Pat, the mayor, and Rich, and then Rich is sending it to the rest of the council. Coordinating and tracking PPE used by all emergency services. He has filed for and received material from federal stockpile. He has registered our municipality with FEMA for future reimbursements. Been communicating frequently with other emergency managers and the like, sharing information and ideas. Keeping an open line of communication with ShopRite on existing conditions, and continues to discuss and plan with all borough agencies future steps to be taken in regards to the pandemic. So I just, just a little shout out to Roy, Chief Sinzeri, Chief Dyes, and Chief Goodrich for all their attention to this matter. Everybody, fire department, and the ambulance corps and the police department have all had to modify their normal procedures, their normal responses due to this. It's completely unorthodox, but we're getting through it. So congratulations to all of them, and just keep doing it, but please be safe. My other comment, Mayor, is you've seen on, you may or may not have seen, on Facebook, there's been numerous towns advertising drive-bys,
Yes.
children's birthday parties, and different situations. That's been done by police departments, fire departments, and so on. So as the chairman of public safety, I gathered all the chiefs today on a call with the mayor and Rich in spirit, and discussed this. And I have some reservations on how we were going to do it, and I want the public to know that it's only to protect the safety of our emergency responders. So I'll read what's going to be put on our Facebook page on our website, and then hopefully that satisfies everyone. It's a compromise. So the Borough of Oakland understands how difficult it may be to celebrate your child's birthday while adhering to the social distancing guidelines. That's why starting tomorrow, April 8th, and we've already done a few, the borough will offer a program to help celebrate your child's special day for any child 12 and under. If your child has a birthday that occurs during this unprecedented time, please reach out to us. We will work with you to schedule lights and sirens drive-by with police cars, fire chief, EMS vehicles, along with our OEM vehicle, all based on their availability at the time of the drive-by, to help brighten the day of our young Oakland residents. Unfortunately, due to decontamination concerns, we will not be able to bring fire trucks and ambulances, but we will bring the chief's vehicles. A drive-by can be scheduled by emailing the First Aid Chief Matt Goodrich at ofaschief@gmail.com. ofaschief@gmail.com. Please provide your child's name, how old they are turning, and your home address, and other contact information as a parent or guardian to help schedule the time of the event. All we ask is that you provide us with a minimum of 48 hours notice to schedule the event. If your child has any sensitivity to lights or sirens or bright lights, please specify that in your request. The Borough of Oakland hopes to bring a smile to your child's face on their birthday. So this will be put out. Michael can put it on the Facebook page and the Borough Facebook page and website as soon as tonight. I want everyone to know, we compromised by doing the chief's vehicles only to bring out fire apparatus. Even with one person in it, every time it goes out, we have to decontaminate not only the firehouse, but the fire apparatus. Our firehouse is completely closed other than responding to fire calls. And during that time, the members actually wait outside for the truck to come out and pick them up, and then they go. So we are not taking this lightly. I think that we are maybe extra sensitive, being we have two of our own members clinging to their life right now due to this. So we will not take chances by putting the actual apparatus in those drive-bys, but we will do the chief's vehicle as a compromise. So the only other thing I want to say is we did purchase numerous decontamination machines, we'll call them, to decontaminate any building and or police vehicle, ambulance vehicle, fire truck, DPW vehicle, any borough vehicle that needs it due to any possible contamination due to the virus. So that was a very huge and positive step. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Before we go on to the next report, I want to talk about 2 donations we received. And I put it on Facebook. Teresa Cristaldi, who owns the dressmaking place above the Pizza Hut in town, Atelier. I'm not pronouncing it correctly. It's Italian. She made 130 masks for our fire department, police department, and our first aid squad. So thank you to Teresa. She did these by hand, and she sanitized every one of the masks before it was delivered. And she even delivered additional ones today. And then after that, I did get a call from Charlie, who owns Custom Cabinets on West Oakland Avenue. He donated 300 nitrile gloves for our police, fire, and first aid, and I delivered those today. So thank you to our volunteers in town. Apparently, even though there's materials to make the mask, there's a shortage of the elastic bands that attached to your ears. So if you know of anybody who has access to the elastic pieces that they can sew onto the mask, we would greatly appreciate any of those donations so more masks can be made. And thank you for your report, Bobby, and thank you for coordinating the call today about the birthday party celebrations for the children. I happened to pass one today, and this child was so excited, sitting on the front steps as parents drove by with balloons and clapping and horns blowing. It was very exciting for the child, so I could see it will be nice. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the compromise and coordinating. So I'm going by who I see and what I see. So the next one would be Councilman Benek. Is he there?
Thank you, Mayor. The planning board meeting is postponed for April, and they're working on a schedule to see when the meeting will be for May.
Right.
The Oakland Communications Commission is always looking for new members. Especially right now, we're looking for stories that are uplifting. For instance, like the one in the newsletter that's focused on what the Knights of Columbus did with the Feed the Needy program here in town amidst the pandemic. The Flow Follies is now on the program schedule. And I wanted to give a special shout out to Ryan Schwartzfeger, who is in the control room right now. So this will all be able to be aired for the public live. So thank you, Ryan, for being out there. We're all at home and you're in the control room at the police station. So we're really grateful for your volunteerism and for what you're doing, stepping up, being out there tonight. As far as the Recreation Commission, football, cheerleading, and soccer signups are open, oaklandrec.org. And a decision will be made at the end of April. As far as the spring sports season, we're all optimistic there'll still be one, but as of right now, a decision has not been made, and a decision will be made at the end of the month. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I lost some pictures. So I see Councilman Levy at the bridge.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'm glad you see me. I'm going to actually combine our shade tree and our flood commission. The commissions haven't met and obviously won't be meeting again until we can do so safely. However, we need to remind all the residents that the borough has shade tree rules and floodplain management rules that are important to be followed. We've had a few instances in the last 30 days of pretty flagrant violations of both our shade tree ordinance and our floodplain ordinance. And in one case, somebody violated both at the same time. you know, the damage with the floodplain ordinance is we have to follow DEP guidelines. And if we do not, the Department of Environmental Protection can actually have us removed from the National Flood Insurance Program. If that happens, every resident in town with flood insurance loses it instantly. And at that point, you also lose your mortgage. So it is important for us that we maintain that. And you know, if you're going to do something and you live near water, you really need to check with our floodplain manager, make sure that what you're doing is acceptable, or find out what is the proper way to do it. And we, you know, and along the same lines, you know, we've had 2 instances, again, with a lot of trees being removed without permits. We have the shade tree rules, you know, for environmental reasons, to protect our canopy and to keep our town beautiful. And we really would just ask everybody, if you're going to cut down a tree, just call the Shade Tree Commission, have somebody come out, take a look, let us assess it, and you know, we can move forward that way. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. So I lost all the other council people on the squares. Are they here?
Yes.
So I'll go in order. So how about Councilman Bialy?
Okay, Mayor, can you hear me? I just want to
I
make
can
sure.
hear you. I don't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, very good. On the senior report, I want to give a shout out to Ariel, who's continuing to coordinate the volunteers. I think there are about 60 of them who have stepped up to the plate and made themselves available to go to pharmacies or supermarkets for our seniors when in need. So Ariel has been doing that on an ongoing basis, and I congratulate her for that. And just as we're talking about it, just to let the seniors know, if you need some pharmacy items or if you need some items from the supermarket, give a call to Ariel at the Senior Center, and she'll hook you up with a volunteer who will help you out with your needs. While we're on the subject of our seniors, I just want to send out my thoughts and prayers to the Page family today, because a good friend of mine passed away today. Charlie Page was 94 years old. He just celebrated his birthday in the last week or so, and he was a very good friend of mine for probably 30 years. I've known Charlie, and he was nothing more than a gentleman. And if I met him in the ShopRite, we had a half-hour conversation. Very interested in our community, and I'm going to miss Charlie immensely. So my thoughts and prayers are with the Page family. DPW, only thing I have to report today is, and I didn't know about the glitch, but our yard waste pickup started today. So if you have your trash picked up on Monday and Thursday, yard waste is Tuesday. If you have your trash picked up on Tuesday, Friday, yard waste was today. Now mine was picked up, but from what I hear from the mayor, there was a glitch, and some of the other residents due to have their yard waste picked up today, it did not happen. So I understand that they're back on schedule again. Rich, can you enlighten me a little bit on that?
John, yeah, Suburban Disposal had alerted us that due to staffing shortages on their end related to the coronavirus, that basically they're going to be running behind schedule. So the advice that we're giving all residents right now is just leave it out at the curb. And Suburban has committed to getting the whole town done by the end of the week.
Very good.
That may persist going forward, depending on what their staffing situation looks like. But you know, as soon as we get updates, we'll pass them along.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say one other thing to our residents, and that is, let's band together as a family. Let's follow the rules of safe distancing, and let's follow the rules about staying indoors as much as you can. Make your shopping as quick as possible. Have your list ready. Don't spend too much time in the store, and or you can order over the phone. I understand there's some issues with the time delay in that, but I only wish the best to all our residents and to all Bergen County residents. We're in the hot spot right now, so it's best to be safe than sorry. And I wish everyone well. And those that are suffering, my prayers and thoughts are with you. Thank you so much.
Before we go on to the next one, just to add on DPW, I've gotten some calls from residents who claim They've not seen DPW workers out there. They're out there. It's 1 man per truck. Those are the guidelines. And as the borough is doing, we're staggering the workers, because the last thing we would want is all of our DPWs to be hit with somebody because one person in DPW was tested positive. Then we would have to quarantine the entire DPW. So you don't see a lot of them working at the same time, but they're staggered. So that answers that question. And one of the things we don't want our DPW workers to do is have to go around cleaning up the used gloves that people are throwing outside. Please, it's very nice that you're wearing your gloves to go into the post office. You're wearing your gloves to go into the supermarket, into the pharmacy. And then what people are doing is they're taking off their used glove and just throwing it on the ground. Please don't do that. It's a health hazard, and our DPW workers are not there to clean up your dirty gloves and unhealthy gloves. So please take them home. And the last thing, Councilman, is about Charlie Page. As you know, he did pass away. His daughter called me this morning. They had a little procession around his street on Academy Circle this morning. So I went up there, and all the neighbors, and I put it on my Facebook page, you could see signs. They put up signs that we love you, Charlie. Charlie will be remembered, and there will be, the family has told me, there will be a memorial service for him in the fall, because as you know, they can't do anything now. So I'll make sure you know, and everybody knows about Charlie's funerals. It'll be a memorial service in the fall. And thank you for those lovely words for Charlie. So
Thank
the next person I see is, I think, Councilman, I feel like I'm doing Hollywood Squares. Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
You're looking up to John. You're below John.
Thank you very much, Mayor. First, I'd like to welcome our new member to the Green Team. Everyone should know how valuable our volunteers are to the borough. I can't express enough thanks to them for volunteering, because it really, really helps the borough with many of our programs. Second thing is Public Events Committee is going to be holding another Zoom meeting on Monday the 13th at 4 p.m. So hopefully the correct procedures are going to be used there for the public also. From public health, as you know, I was in public health for almost 40 years. One of the most important things you can do, besides what Councilman Bialy said about keeping the distance, is wash your hands. Wash, wash, wash. Every opportunity you have. If you want to prevent your family from getting sick, and it's not just during coronavirus, but especially now, wash your hands, teach your children 20 seconds. It's extremely important to kill the virus. The outside of the virus shell, not to get too technical, has a fatty substance, and the soap helps to dissolve that so that it kills the virus. And thank you, Mayor, about mentioning about the gloves. It is a tragedy to see people just throw gloves all over the place and not take into consideration who might come after you. So again, do not throw your gloves on the floor, on the ground, and shopping carriages. Take them home, or I bring a plastic bag with me, a Ziploc bag with me. I get in the car, take them off, and I put them right in the Ziploc bag and dispose of them. So please wash your hands, 20 seconds, and please take your rubber gloves back with you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Oh, one more thing.
Oakland Braves.
One more thing, I'm sorry.
Square.
I just offer my prayers for our two volunteers, our two volunteer firemen. They have put in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. I think the least we could do is to take a couple of minutes a day and pray for them and their families. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Oakland Braves.
Okay. First of all, schools, they're continuing to educate our kids electronically. They're doing a pretty good job, and it's evolving as it goes on. My kids are I won't say enjoying it, but they're getting through, and they understand what has to be going on, and the questions that they have are being answered by their teachers. So from my point of view, at least in my household, it's going well, and from what I hear, people are taking to it. The library is open digitally, not the actual building, but if you go on the library's site, you can download books and movies and whatever other materials that you can get. Finance, we met, we went over the budget a little bit. We're going to meet again, hopefully with the full council, to go over the changes in the budget, and then we'll be able to present it to the town and adopt it. And then I just want to say thank you to our first responders, medical personnel, our borough employees. Really, everybody's stepping up. You know, all like I don't know who said it before. I think it was Grant. You know, we're in our house, safe from the virus, and they're all going out there doing things that need to be done, and it's greatly appreciated. And I just want to say thank you to all of them. And then also, you see, I have the Oakland Braves thing behind me. I can't tell you how disappointed I am that the Oakland rec sports aren't going on. Anyone who knows me know I you know, growing up, I wasn't this big sports kid. It wasn't one of those things for me. But coaching has become one of the best things in my life. I just love coaching these kids, and I miss them all. And so that's why I have the sign behind me. You know, just go Braves. I love you guys. I can't wait to see you on the field. And then also happy Passover to everyone, and a happy Easter. It's going to be difficult times to celebrate by yourself, but we'll get through it, and we'll have a big party when it's all over. Thank you, Mayor.
Your
Thank you.
house?
Sure.
Mayor, may I have one last thing, if you don't mind?
Yes, where are you?
I'm here.
I keep moving the squares around.
I forgot to mention the DPW myself. I always consider the DPW part of our emergency services. And when I listed the groups before, I neglected to mention them. So I apologize. And I want to kind of piggyback what Russ and John both said, that, you know, Anthony and his team, you may not see as many trucks all at the same time like you're used to, but I know for a fact that they're out there because I've been talking with Anthony on a whole bunch of different things, and they are working. So that was all that. And anybody who could see John Ukimic right now, does he not look like the pilot of an Eastern Airlines?
I found him.
Thank you. I think.
I think that's supposed to be a compliment.
That's what I meant.
So
Actually,
before-
Bob, I
yeah.
think you mean an Eastern Airlines pilot from the 50s.
That's about when they were, yes.
So before we move forward, John, do you want to say anything, John Ukimic or Brian?
No, I don't think so, Mayor.
I'm good, Mayor.
You're good, thank you. And so at this point, Michael, get ready because now we're opening to the public.
So moved.
Motion,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Michael, are you there?
I will let you know if anyone raises their hand.
Motion
Remember,
to close.
raise your hand.
Motion to close.
No one
Second.
raised their hand.
So no one raised their hand?
No.
All right, so Councilman Levy, you made a motion?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bills to be paid, Councilman Talamini? We have bills?
Bills to be paid, $477,779.38. So moved.
Second,
Any questions, discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Levy,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck.
Yes.
Before we adjourn, I just want to say that this is a very holy week. As the councilman had stated, thank you, Councilman Talamini. To my Jewish friends and family, we start Passover tomorrow night. This is 8 days of Passover. To my Christian friends, we start Easter. You have Good Friday on Friday and Easter Sunday. It's a very holy weekend. And you know that on Monday, and I forgot the name of the holiday, but the Sikh church. This is the day they were formed, and to all our Sikh families and friends in town, I wish you a happy holiday, and I apologize. Does anybody remember the name of the holiday?
Sarwinder Day.
No, not quite, but he's the one no, it's not his day, but he celebrates the day. And unfortunately, none of us can all celebrate with families and friends and in our houses of worship and even in our homes. But you know what? You have Zoom.
We use it in my family.
What?
We use it in my family. We're going to do it every Saturday.
Really? And
Yep.
and a lot of the Jewish families are having their Seder's via Zoom. And I just wish everybody a happy holiday, whatever holiday you are celebrating. If you don't observe any holidays, I wish you a very healthy, good week ahead. I'm supposed to have good weather. Don't get crazy and say, oh, it's nice weather. We could go outside walking in a group. That is why the governor said today he had to close all state and county parks because people thought they were outside. They did not have to adhere to social distancing. They were walking in groups, and it's dangerous. And that's how the virus is spread. So please continue to practice social distancing. Be safe. Have good holidays. And our next council meeting is on April 22nd, but I have a feeling we're going to be doing this again via remotely. I don't think we're going to be allowed back in a group by April 22nd. So maybe I'll be able to see more than 9 people at a time next time. We'll figure it out. But each time we do it, we'll get better and better. To all our Oakland residents, I thank you for everything you've been doing. You're volunteering, you're helping, and being patient with us. And we will continue to keep giving you information and information and to keep informing you. And with that,
Mayor, the Sikh holiday is next Tuesday, and from what I'm
Monday,
seeing,
is it Monday?
no, it's Tuesday the 14th, and the name of it is Vaisakhi.
Thank you.
V-A-S-V-A-I-S.
That is the advantage of being doing this Zoom, because you can look up your phone and Google it.
That's right.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything to say before we adjourn?
No, I just want to wish everybody a very happy holiday for all our Jewish friends, and just a very blessed and sacred Easter season for all our Christian friends. Thank you so much.
Good Passover, Mayor. And
Thank you. And a happy Easter
Thank you.
to all of you. Happy and healthy.
Thank you.
Be healthy. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to close.
So
To
moved.
adjourn.
Second.
And all in favor?
All right.
All right.
Happy holidays. Be safe and stay home. Good
Bye,
night.
Stonewall.
Go Braves.